So, you want to understand just how fast AI is really moving? Well, to do that, we actually have to look back. And our story starts? Well, it starts somewhere you'd probably never expect.
Yep, horses. I know. What do horses have to do with AI? But stick with me here because the story of the horse, it reveals this incredible pattern, a pattern that is absolutely repeating itself right now, but at a speed that is just mind-bending.
Okay, so let's dive into it. Let's talk about the long, slow march of the engine and what it meant for the animal that for literally centuries was our primary source of power.
Okay, get this. The steam engine, it was invented all the way back in 1700. For the next 200 years, engines were just kind of getting better, little improvements bit by bit. For the first 120 of those years, if you were a horse, you wouldn't have even noticed. Life was good. In fact, the horse population in the US didn't even hit its peak until 1920. That's 2 centuries after the invention that would eventually replace them.
And then, everything changed. It was like falling off a cliff. In just 20 years, between 1930 and 1950, 90% of all the working horses in the US were just gone, vanished from the economy.
And this is the pattern I want you to burn into your brain. The progress of the technology, it was slow, it was steady, it was predictable. But the disruption, that was anything but. It was sudden, it was absolute. The second that engines got good enough and cheap enough to match a horse, it was game over. Just like that. Remember that. Slow progress, sudden equivalence.
All right, so that's physical labor. That's muscle. But what about intelligence? What about our minds? Let's see if this same pattern holds up when we switch from a stable to a chessboard.
So, starting around the mid-80s, computer chess got better with this almost eerie predictability. It was like clockwork. Every single year, their skill rating, their ELO score, would jump up by about 50 points. A steady, predictable, relentless climb.
And that steady climb led to, well, a sudden cliff, again. In the year 2000, a top human grandmaster, they could still pretty much dominate the best computers out there. Fast forward just 10 years to 2010, and that same grandmaster would be lucky to win 1 game in 10. The tables didn't just turn, they were completely flipped over, all in a single decade.
You see it, right? It's the exact same pattern. The progress was linear, predictable. But the second the machine became equivalent to a human master, it wasn't a gentle handover. It was a total, sudden collapse of human dominance.
Okay, so we've got horses for muscle, chess for intellectual games, but what about skilled professional jobs? You know, the kind of jobs people go to college for. This next story isn't some historical look back. This is happening right now, and it's a first-hand account from someone working inside one of the world's top AI labs.
So, the AI we're talking about here is called Claude. It's an advanced model from the company Anthropic. And one of the key jobs for a senior researcher at that company was answering really complex technical questions from other employees. Now, the human team, a whole team of experts, they were handling maybe 4,000 of these questions every month. Then they thought, hey, let's have Claude help out a bit. Well, help out is an understatement. Claude didn't just help, it completely took over. It's now answering 30,000 questions a month. That's the workload of nearly 8 entire human teams.
And this is the part that just blows my mind. How long do you think it took for Claude to go from just being a helper to being way better than a senior researcher at a core part of their job? A year? 2 years? No. 6 months. Just 6 months.
Then there's the money side of it, and it's just brutal. The AI system is 1,000 times cheaper than the human expert it surpassed. I mean, think about that. It's cheaper than hiring the lowest paid person you could possibly find anywhere in the world to do the job.
So let's just line this all up. For horses, the disruption took decades. For chess grandmasters, it took years. For a highly skilled AI researcher, it took months. Do you see what's happening? The pattern is identical, but the timeline is shrinking fast.
And this acceleration, this compression of time, it forces us to ask a really important and frankly, pretty urgent question about our own jobs, our own futures.
This quote comes directly from the researcher who watched this all happen, and it really brings this whole thing home, doesn't it? It stops being some abstract idea and becomes a very sharp, very personal reality. Remember that 2-decade window the horses had to adapt? Well, that's starting to look like a real luxury.
And that's really the final question for all of us, isn't it?
We've seen this pattern play out over and over. Slow, steady progress, then a sudden, disruptive cliff. The only variable that's changing is the speed. So as AI keeps getting better, the real question isn't if it's going to hit that equivalence point in more and more of our jobs. The question is when and how much time we're going to get.